I'm a big fan of Seiko watches. Here are 3 Seiko watches of mine. This is a little tank one that I recently bought. This is a Seiko 62 MAS, Seiko's first diver's watch. And this is a sort of a modern-ish remake of this. It's a good few years old now, but I absolutely love this watch. It's something that's been on my wrist throughout quite a lot of physically demanding stuff. Like I renovated a house whilst wearing this and it still looks so good. And because I wear so many vintage watches, sometimes it's nice to just chuck on something that's so new. It's got all the modern synthetic lubrications inside. It's also got all of the new gaskets. It's going to be properly waterproof and it's just a little bit less fragile, you know, sapphire crystal glass. Whereas if you compare it to something like this is supposed to be a diver's watch, but if it went underwater, it would probably be kaput. The seals are going to be long gone, and when I have actually replaced them, they're never going to be as good as they were originally, and you can't actually properly replace the one in the crown without kind of damaging the crown. So, what am I getting at? Well, I really like Seiko, and a Seiko that I have wanted for a long time isn't actually a Seiko, it's a Grand Seiko. Grand Seiko is a brand that was made, I think, back in the 60s or 70s, alongside of another one called King Seiko, and they basically took Seiko up a notch. They managed to achieve a chronometer certification. They really rivaled the Swiss in their watch manufacturing, their actual watch making of the complexities of the movements. And Grand Seiko excelled and is today still an absolutely massive, massive brand. And recently, I feel like they've been really kind of rivaling a lot of the other Swiss brands again, just like they did in the 60s. You can buy an absolute piece of art for the same price as an Oyster Perpetual from Rolex, which is just such a standard watch that everyone's gonna wear. They're also inspired by the Japanese environment. They're all made by hand in Japan, and I'm a big fan. I did actually own a Grand Seiko. It was a vintage one, and I brought this strap for it to make it look like a Grand Seiko that was a modern one that I've always wanted, except that modern one costs about £2,500. Until I found one on Sendico, which is a proxy service to buy stuff from Japan, for £1,390, which I know that's a lot of money for a watch, but for this watch, that is like £1,000 less than the cheapest one I've seen available. I cannot believe I own this. It is so unbelievably exciting. It just feels too good to be true. But it is true, and I'd be lying if I said I hadn't been wearing this for the past month. I am just so pleased, and I'm really excited to talk about this. I hope this isn't going to come across as me just like rubbing it in your face, but it's something that I have genuinely wanted for so long. It doesn't have any papers. To be honest with you, I'm not so fussed about that. If it didn't even come with a box, I wouldn't be so fussed. But yeah, here is the box, and it is very nice. It's a very premium box. I love the navy blue. There's the watch inside on quite possibly the ugliest strap known to man. It's got a bright yellow inside. It's just not the strap for this watch, so we're going to be addressing that. As I said, it's got no paperwork. One thing that is quite cool though, is it comes with a couple of the little labels that are on it. So this, by the way, is the SBGV245, and you can actually see on this little label the original ticket price of 300,000 yen, which is roughly $3,000. So very cool that it has that. Kind of surprised that it does. It's even got like the little sticker that would have gone on the back of the case. So that is all of the stuff it comes with. It did actually also, thankfully, come with the original strap. Now this strap paired with this watch, when I laid my eyes on that, is the sole responsibility for why I have this today. It was an immediate affinity that I had with this kind of, I don't even know, is this a green? I think it's a green. This green and then the gray dial. It was just that combination that just absolutely captivated me from the very moment I saw it, and I couldn't get it out of my mind, and hence why I then tried to build my own budget version. Now, being that this was £1,390, it obviously hasn't got the papers, but it is also well worn. And that is not such a big problem for two reasons. Yes, it's nice to have a very good condition, clean and shiny watch, but having scratches on the watch already means that what is obviously a very expensive watch isn't going to be something that I'm going to have to be super precious with. It's going to be something that I can chuck on, preferably not on this bracelet, on this strap, but I'll show you just for the sake of it. And it's going to be something that I can wear and not really worry about scratching it, because if it gets scratched, you're not even going to notice. Wow, the person who had this before me had big wrists. But yeah, if it gets scratched, you're not even going to notice it. Look at that watch. But more importantly, if you look close up, you can see all of these scratches around the bezel. It's such a clean, minimalistic design. It's so just sleek. The case, the curves, the case design itself is actually something that's really quite unique. It's very blocky. It's very chunky. It's very blocky. And then you have these sharp hands in the middle. The iconic Grand Seiko hands. These have been the hands that they've used for an extremely long period of time. And then it's got the little Grand Seiko logo, followed by the text, and nothing underneath. It's got the date, and you'll notice it's quartz. I'm gonna talk about the quartz part in a little bit, but before we do that, let's sort this whole strap business out. So this is the strap that is actually supposed to be on the watch. Now, this strap has seen better days. It's super grotty, it's very gross, and more importantly, I have worn it on a holiday where it got absolutely caked in sun cream, or a vacation if you're American. But it was already really gross to begin with, and since it's a fabric, it's kind of not going to be very cleanable. And then on the bottom as well, the leather underside is kind of on its way out. But I have managed to actually find a brand new replacement one. This was about £60. Let's see if the color is going to be noticeably brighter than the dirty one. Oh yeah, oh yeah, wow. That is a significant difference. And if I take this off and slide it out, let's have a little look. You can see just the general overall condition difference. It's remarkable. The stitches are nice and white. That leather piece in the middle is not doomed. Yeah, the color of it as well is striking. This is so much darker. So that's very exciting. There's also this little piece here too. And I think you can really start to see just how dirty it is when you flip it over and you can see the color of the stitches. This is the new one, obviously. This is the old one. Even the leather underneath, very different. So let's take off all of the little hardware bits here. So we've got this buckle. Now I actually bought a new old stock, or just a new, they're not actually old, stock buckle from Japan when I was building my budget wannabe Grand Seiko copy. And it was about $60 on its own, which is insane. And then this actual clasp is about $100 or so, about $150 I think, which is ridiculous. So I just bought like a generic Seiko one because there was no way I was going to pay that. So we now have the proper stuff, which is very nice. Very excited. The other thing I was going to say as well, I think it would make a really cool video to actually go up to the Grand Seiko boutique in London and ask them to service the watch, you know, replace the battery. When they do that, they also replace all of the seals inside the gaskets to make sure that it's all going to be waterproof again. They check the condition of the movement, and then I was just wondering, I wonder if they're going to post it back in a nice little box or something that we can unbox and have a look at how they did, and also we can talk to the people up there when I go up there to actually drop it off. So let me know if you'd be interested in a video like that, because I'm probably going to be doing it anyway. I've got no idea if this is still waterproof, which is a little bit worrying, and I would like it to be as robust and as functional as possible. So there we go. This strap can now retire, as can this one. It served a very good purpose. I do think I'm going to try and give it a little clean, but being that this is a fabric strap, it's probably a good idea to replace it periodically anyway, because surely these sorts of areas, once they're weak, put the watch at risk of just falling off your wrist. So there we have it, all of the pieces. Now we can put it back together. Did anybody remember which way that went? Look, it goes that way, because then it is the right way up with the Grand Seiko logo there. So there we have it. That all makes sense. Let's pop this little spring bar in. There we go. Look at that. Boom. There we go. Boom. Okay, so we can now take these spring bars out of this one, and we can pop them into the new one. There we go. I tucked it straight under, so I'm pretty happy with that. I can't believe how good this is already looking. Is that right? No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not right. That's supposed to be at the top, isn't it? Yes. There we go. The watch is on. Now that's what I'm talking about. It looks a little bit like backwards, because usually you have the short part at the top and the long part at the bottom, but it will all make sense. So what we're now going to do is fold this round, pop that into there. In you go. Clips in like that. That feels very rigid. It's going to for a while until it sort of, you know, eases up a little bit. And then that slots into there. And then you have the little band that goes down and just covers up the tip of the tongue there. Words, alliteration, and boom. There we have it. I mean, just look at that watch. It's got to be the most beautiful watch I've ever seen in my entire life. Everything about it is just so beautiful. The color of the strap, the color of the dial, and if you look up closely onto the dial, it's actually got horizontal lines. It's not just all clear gray, it's got these horizontal little lines. There's the GS logo on the crown there. It's a screw down crown, of course, it's waterproof. On the back, the iconic Grand Seiko lion. So the movement inside this watch is the 9F movement. Now I'm gonna leave a link to the Grand Seiko website to read up on the 9F movement. I highly advise that you do read up on it, because it is just an astonishing feat of engineering. But essentially, it's a quartz movement. It's accurate to within 10 seconds a year. So think about how amazing that is. I've not worn these watches in a while, so they're telling the wrong time, the wrong date, you've got to set them. Obviously, that's not a great argument, because most of the time, a automatic movement is going to be far more advanced and technical and just more impressive than a quartz movement. But the movement inside here is astonishing. The Grand Seiko is truly something that is just for you. It's something that not many people are going to know about, but the person that does spot it on your wrist and knows what it is, you're going to have an absolutely phenomenal conversation with them. I am so pleased with it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to try and get some nice shots throughout the video to just aid what I'm talking about, but it's a beautiful piece of engineering, and I am so pleased and so lucky. Honestly, I'm just so lucky. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.